Welcome back to Six Arrows. Today I'm going to continue my shooting out at 50 yards. I did end up qualifying last week with no issues. It always makes me laugh. I can do all the practicing in the world, but when I'm shooting in front of somebody that's watching, it makes me a little bit nervous. I still shot a 3-inch group, so it wasn't an issue at all, but it gets me every time. I want to tell you a little bit about the arrows that I'm using. In the past I used to use FMJs by Easton. My buddy Ruben, who you met last time, has been shooting these grizzly stick momentums that are made by, I think, Legion. Made by Victory Arrows, sorry. And the key for these, and it took me a couple years to come around to it, but they're a high FOC arrow. Basically what that means is it's putting more of the weight forward of the arrow, and it makes it much more efficient in transferring energy. There's a very brilliant man named Dr. Ed Ashby. If you look him up, you will find just a wealth of information of testing that he's done over a very extensive career shooting arrows into real animals, mostly over in Africa, working for African governments. But he came up with a list of factors that are key towards taking down animals. And one of them is a structural arrow that flies well and has the appropriate amount of weight. If you want some more details on high FOC arrows, and specifically how to tune the arrows to your setup and how to get started with that, I'd recommend going to check out the Ranch Fairies YouTube page. He does a great job explaining why it's important, and then kind of a beginner's level of knowledge as far as how to get started, how to figure out what setup would work for you, and get you set up to shooting these things in the field. Okay, I will put a link to that stuff in the description, but for now I'm going to shoot 6 of these from 50 yards, and we'll see what it looks like. We're right about deer killing time. I'm going to try to do quite a bit of practice at this time period moving forward. So I'm using the sight light again. The biggest difference I noticed with these arrows is really how much better they fly with the broadheads. Ruben did a great job walking me through the process of bare shaft tuning these arrows. We were shooting them with no fletchings out to like 25 or 30 yards, and they were shooting bullets through paper with a paper tuner. And that only makes it better once you put the fletchings on there. And then the fletchings are primarily there to fix my mistakes, not the arrow's mistakes. Let's go take a look. Gotta say, I'm pretty happy with this from 50 yards. This shot number 2, I believe here, or that's number 3. This one right here, definitely didn't settle as much as I would like to with that arrow. Still, in general, 5 out of those 6 are definitely dead deer arrows. And number 3 probably is too. The thing with the heavy arrows and the high FOC arrows, they're going to do such so much of a better job transferring energy. Dr. Ashby has a significant amount of information showing these arrows splitting bone. I'm not afraid to hit shoulder blades. I'm not afraid to hit leg bones. It just gives me so much more confidence about taking shots when I'm in the woods. So there's my 6 arrows for the day. Pretty happy with that performance from 50 yards. I'm going to continue to keep shooting in lower light. As we all know, that's dead deer o'clock. So the more comfortable I can get switching on that sight light, picking up my target and hitting it, the more confident I'll be in the field. Highly recommend that you look into some high FOC arrows. Go check out the Ranch Fairies channel, which I'll link in the description below. I'll also put a link to the grizzly stick arrows that I'm using. Get out there and shoot some arrows. Thanks for joining me.